Well, good evening, folks, and welcome to the second part of the show. I'm really stoked. We have got the legend that is Clay Walker, all the way from Tennessee. How you doing, Clay?
I'm doing great, Paul. Thanks for having me on today.
No, thank you very much. I really appreciate your time. I know you've got a busy schedule on, but really appreciate it. And obviously celebrating a brand new album a few months ago and a brand new song, Catching Up on an Old Memory, which we'll play later on.
Fantastic. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, tell us a little bit more about the song, Catching Up on an Old Memory. Where did the inspiration come from that?
During COVID, I got to write a lot. For 2 years, we didn't really get to do shows or travel very much. And I'm from Texas, still have our place there. We have a ranch, or working cow ranch in Texas. And so the title of the album is called Texas to Tennessee. And the new single, Catching Up with an Old Memory, is really has a haunting melody to it, and kind of nostalgic. I was a big fan of Keith Whitley's, and he had a song called "This Is Just Between an Old Memory and Me," and so I borrowed it a little bit. I mean, but don't we all? you know, but having the those kind of songs in my lexicon were the old songs like Keith. Those were very helpful, and I think they're new again. Some of the traditional sounding stuff that I did in the '90s and early 2000s is catching on here in the States, and so I feel like the nostalgic kind of bring back the memory is really going to work here. At least I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a title for your next album, Tennessee to Texas and back. There you go.
How about Texas to Tennessee to the UK and back? Because that's what I'd like to do.
Well, after we've had this recording, I'll have a chat with you about that. Because we're quite excited over here at the moment. Everything's opening up, and there might be something that we can do with you on that one. So we'll chat with you on that. And also at the end, just before I forget, I always forget this. If you can do as a quick liner at the end, that'd be absolutely fantastic as well. Like I said, we've been playing a lot of the music. I tell you, one of the songs that haunts me at the moment, and I can't stop playing it, is "We All Need a Bar Sometimes."
Well, that was the first song that I wrote for the new album, and normally songwriters get together, and in person and write songs, and a lot of times, we just go get a pint somewhere, get a mug of beer and sit down and talk and kind of let the idea come out in the conversation. You say something witty or something, something that catches the ear just a little bit differently. It's one of the things that I love about people from the UK is they give me ideas for songs because they're just even though it's still English language, the original, I guess. We say things differently here, or either way you want to look at it. But like the term, hey, what are you doing right now? Somebody in the UK may say, "What are you doing just now?" Mm. And it just catches the ear a little. It's so. I'm always amused and curious, when I'm talking to people from the UK. But writing the song, catching up. I mean, "We All Need a Bar Sometime" was really just coming out of the conversation. We wrote it on a video Zoom call, much like we're doing now, and it was the most awkward thing, and my internet sometimes doesn't work that well here. I live out in the country, and so there was all of the freezes on the screen, just everything. And I said, "Guys, we just need a bar." I said, we all need a bar sometimes." So that's where the title came from.
Looking at the video as well, I thought it was quite ideal with it being COVID and there was social distancing all around that video. It was just you in the bar with a guitar. Really?
That's right. Strange, right? Strange. The pub with no beer, Slim Dusty.
But yeah, one of my good friends actually over here and a member of the BCMA, and she just released a new single. Laura Aston in the Midlands actually sang that song, and I think you commented on Twitter or was it on Instagram or something like that, and she put it on Facebook. And when I told her I was chatting to you, she was like, "Oh my God, you'll have to say hi from me."
That's wonderful, and I love seeing people have success. This is a tough business,
Yeah.
and getting a co-write on a song, or getting an artist to cut one of your songs, or being an artist, it's so the gates are so tightly controlled now, and they've always been controlled somewhat, but the gates are much more closely watched. So yeah, kudos to her.
Yeah, it's great because she brought out a great single. It's got a proper country vibe to it, which is cool, and I think it's booking the trend. Same with your material as well and your music. It is booking the trend. It's not all, like I said, it's not all the conveyor belt that's going on at the moment in Nashville. Which some of it's good, some of it's bad, in my opinion. I know it's only my opinion, but certainly with artists like yourself, you've not lost your. Oh, it's gone quiet. Ah,
Sorry.
yeah, I said it's certainly with your music as well. You've stuck to your true values. And I mean, I must, before we talk about how it all started for you, before I forget, I must have a shout out to two very good friends of mine, Pete and Anna Jones, over here in the UK. They are line dance choreographers, and they've done two line dances recently. One called Easy Going, and the other one, I'd Love to Be Your Last. It's just come out this week.
Wow, I,
Yeah.
I I love to see the line dancing. I've seen some people from Italy who have done some line dancing to some of our songs, and but I would love to see that. And I want to give a shout out to, we were talking about Laura and her song, and I love her TikTok. Cameron Barnes is another one
Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to. He's one of the reasons I really got interested in the UK. He's from Fife, and he did a recording of "She Won't Be Lonely Long,"
Oh, yeah.
and with the accent and all. And look, I'm infatuated with the UK, and I want to spend time there. And I hate to keep going back to that, but
No,
that's
no, no, absolutely. It's all great for us because I mean, in tomorrow starts the country to country in London. We're all going. There's going to be a mass exodus for the first time in 2 years. All going down by trains, planes, and automobiles. They're all ascending at the O2 in London to watch the likes of Luke Combs, Ashley McBride, all those people, as well as people who are up and coming and starting out or trying to get onto the big stage eventually. So we're all stoked to hear when Americans say, or Canadians or Australians, they love England, and the UK. It'd be quite interesting if he was from Scotland, whether you understood everything that he said. That'd be quite interesting.
when he sang, yes, I could understand it perfectly, but when he spoke, it was I felt like I needed to be drunk to understand.
Should have an app. Speaking to the app.
How about
Um,
a dram?
well, I in my day job, just briefly, I worked quite extensively for many years in Scotland. And when I first worked up there, I got a phone call from the head office in Glasgow, and I'm going, yeah. I said, I'm sorry, can you send me an email? Because I thought I have no. They sent me an email, and I emailed them back. I said, even your emails are bloody Scottish. I have no idea what you're talking about.
The Scots to me remind me, so much of myself, the way I grew up, very humble
Yeah.
and witty, they're so witty. The dry humor crushes me over there. I was playing golf, and I'm a terrible golfer, and my caddy was caddying for me, and it was raining very, very hard, and the wind was blowing very difficult, and the course was a true links style course where you went all the way out and you came all the way back in. It didn't make the turn at number nine. You were
Yeah, yeah.
on number nine. You were as far away from the clubhouse as you could get. And my playing partner Steve Elkington, who's a pro golfer, an Aussie, was noticing that I was struggling, a lot. And so I think everyone wanted to go back, in and retire from the rain and the wind and and so my caddy was sitting at the table next to me. It's just a little bitty, two little tables, just two tops. And I said, man, I said, I am terrible And my caddy says, he takes a cigarette out of something, goes, "You're not as good as that." You're not as good as it's terrible. And I was so stunned. I thought I was cheeky. And
Yeah.
so I said, great. I said, let's see how good I can do on the back nine. So we played the best.
I just tend to nod and go, "Yep, thank you." Happy days. But just covering off the line dance before we go. I mean, I've been an artist for like 22 years, mainly covers up and down the country. I've covered "Live, Laugh, Love," "Dreaming with My Eyes Wide Open," "If I Could Make a Living," "Hypnotize the." All those, are still great line dances over here. And great fun, and it wasn't long ago. I only found out that "If I Could Make a Living" was co-wrote by Alan Jackson,
Yes.
because I heard it on a bootleg disc that I had. He was doing in 94, 95. Ernest Tubbs, he did a live concert there, and he sang that. And that was the first time I ever heard him sing that. And I went, "That's Clay Walker." And then I realised hey, I wrote it. I can sing it, man.
Yes, he can, and I tell you, it was a big gift to get that song. Speaking of "Live, Laugh, Love" as well, another UK artist recorded that song and had a hit with it. "Live, Laugh, Love." And that's one of the things that it's kept me dreaming. With my eyes open. Is I went to Scotland several years ago, and then I went to London, and I haven't been to Ireland. That's a bucket list. I want to go there.
Yeah.
But I'm super excited, about what my future could hold there in the UK, because Don Williams, who was one of my favorite all-time singers, I'd gone to a golf club, Pumferston was the name of the golf club over in Scotland, and there was a guy with a guitar, and he got up and he started singing "I'm Just a Country Boy" by in the Scottish accent, and I was so flabbergasted. They loved Don Williams, and so I had the opportunity when I got back to the States I was recording on Giant Records, and Don Williams was also recording on Giant Records, and I invited him over to my recording session, and he came. He came and spent the entire afternoon. And I was intimidated, because he's such a great voice, such a great singer, and believe it or not, it was "Live, Laugh, Love" that I was recording.
Wow!
And I sang it. Went back in and I said I wanted to get some advice from you, Don, and he says, in that real deep cigarette voice, "You have a fine voice. I wouldn't change a thing."
Oh,
I mean, it was
wow.
just so nice, so kind and so humble. But I knew that people really loved him in the UK,
Yeah.
and he drew massive crowds. And I asked him, how I could get started there, and he told me that he started small. He played some of the smaller clubs, and the next time he went over there, he was playing, 5 to 10,000 seat arenas,
Absolutely.
bigger. So, there's been some. There's a lot of wisdom in those guys, and I consider them mentors. But I've always had this fascination of this would be my future, to go over to the UK and to be almost like a new artist, in a way.
Yeah, I mean I've done tours here with James House. He did the same thing a few years ago. We did the support there and helped him. Just recently had over a Swedish star called Eleanor Springstrike come over. She with Jimmy Ritchie. I don't know if you know Jimmy Ritchie, the producer, singer-songwriter. She does a lot with him. We've had them over recently.
Jimmy did a couple of albums for me.
Yeah.
He also wrote a song on my last album. My last album was an independent album called "Long Live the Cowboy,"
Yep.
and we wrote a song called "Makes Me Want to Stay," and it's got an Irish jig on the front of it. And
He's a great guy.
he's a beauty, a great producer, and a great musician.
I know it was a pity because COVID stopped him coming over. Was it last month? I think it was the beginning of last month. It was still a little bit unsure, so Eleanor had to bring over another guitarist because it would have been Jimmy going over to Sweden, then over to the UK with me, and we hosted a few shows with her. So we'll, I'm sure we can do that. And like you said, Don Williams, he was my late father, one of my late father's favourites, and I live 15 minutes away from Liverpool, with the Beatles and all that, and he was playing in Liverpool, and I got my dad tickets and all that, and he loved it. Loved it. A couple of years later, Don had passed away, unfortunately, but he got a chance to see one of his idols, really, which was cool.
Yeah, it was really, a sad day. We lost Don and uh, uh, Montgomery Gentry, Teddy Gentry,
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
same
yeah,
day,
yeah,
on the same
yeah.
day, and
I'm a huge
and
fan.
yeah, and Don was, I didn't hear that he was sick or anything. It was just so sudden to me, at least.
Yeah.
I was unprepared for that, and yeah, you hate to see those legends, but it's great to know that your dad got to see him.
Oh yeah, it was made up, and like it's one of those little things, isn't it? I mean, like you said, in June, literally another sort of 10 minutes towards Liverpool, we've got the Eagles with Vince Gill and Deacon Fry playing at the Liverpool football ground, the soccer ground, which is my hometown anyway, my own football ground, and it's the Eagles, and there's Little Big Town coming on, and it's like 10 minutes from here, and I'm going, it's a no-brainer, I'm going, you know. But I just want to ask you about obviously your career. I mean, how did it all start for you? Really, was it one of those you opened the fridge door and you started to sing when you were a young boy, or?
Well, I grew up on a farm that is still in my family. It's been there since the early 1800s, and there was we were very poor, and so I understood, and still do, what it's like just to be a common person, not of anyone, that's elite or to, you just learn how to be real. You are real. And my family sang music and played instruments, all of them. My dad, grandfather, cousins, everyone, aunts, uncles. And it was a way of life for us. I've seen movies, of gypsies, and I went, that was us. That we sat around the fires singing. I didn't have air conditioning, growing up, uh, not until I left home. Uh, and so music was our way of expression, our joy, our sadness, our everything. My dad played all Charlie Pride songs. He could sing. If you put your hands over your eyes, my dad sang Charlie Pride. You could not
Oh
tell the
yeah.
difference. You wouldn't know who it was. And so, I had that as the influence in my life and the foundation. And so, we grew up milking cows, raising our own hogs, for the table, and chickens, everything. I mean, if we ate it, we grew it or shot it. We had to,
Some
and so,
buckshot.
yeah, yeah. So it was, yes, and so very much, man. When I see people, even people my age, they didn't grow up like that.
No.
And so "Live Until I Die," the song I wrote, "Live Until I Die," is an autobiography. Muddy
Yeah.
roads, muddy feet. Literally, I didn't wear shoes, until we went to school. No one in my family wore shoes. It was crazy. But I love that. So
Yeah.
how did I learn how to sing? I learned how to live first, and then I learned how to sing about it.
Oh, that's a great phrase. I like that because even when I speak to my mum, obviously during the war years, and they were saying the same thing, and it's a great grounding for an artist like yourself, and it's great well to draw from, in the songwriting and the passion that you have. If maybe there's lean times or anything like that, and you think I need something to draw on, you think back to your childhood and things that happened there, and that's a great well of history there to draw from.
My wife and I have two places. We have acreage here in Tennessee and acreage in Texas, and they both have water on them. And when COVID hit and all the things people were talking about, happening and shutting down the industries, I just laughed because, I knew that we have everything we need to live. We have water, we have springs, we have animals, we have vegetables. So I've already been there. COVID didn't scare me.
You were self-isolating decades ago,
That's right. I'm the original self-isolate, off the grid.
Oh man, oh, it's great that. But obviously, today, I mean, you've now launched. Was it this week or was it last week with Tracy Lawrence? You've got a tour going on with the great guy himself.
Tracy and I started last week, and our first three shows were sold out,
Wow.
and the response was just pandemonium. You know, we we have enough hits between us that we can't get them all in. You know,
It's great, isn't it?
we played 2 hours and 20 minutes, and we didn't talk, and we
Oh
just couldn't
wow.
get all the hits in. So it was it seeing the crowd, constantly ramp to the end of it. By the end, it was deafening. There was I don't know. I guess you could compare it to a championship football game over in the UK. And notice I said football. I didn't say soccer. I did watch the show. There's a movie, or is it? It's about the gentleman's game, or what's it called? It's about the way soccer was invented,
Oh
and then
right. Ah, right. Yeah, I've no
well,
idea.
my wife is fascinated with British television, so we watch BB and all of the, Outlander, and just, oh my gosh, we're covered
Yeah.
up in
Well,
British act.
we're heavily into Yellowstone here in 1883. We've just been absolutely besotted with it. I mean, I've binge watched because I didn't watch Yellowstone up until this year, and then my friends were going, "Listen, man, you need to get that scene to." So yeah, I binge watched everything, and I was so made up the way Tim McGraw actually acted in it. He actually became a really very very good actor in it. I know he's acted before, but this was his sort of pinnacle of his career, I think, up to now.
Oh, he's all right. He's a good friend. He's one
I
of my good
knew,
friends.
I knew he was. That's why I was building him up, and then you just
I love
threw him
him.
under a bus.
No, no, he's great. No,
He's great. He's great.
he's a good friend, and I gave him grief, all the way, through the movie. Like, I was watching each episode of 1883, and I would text her and go, "When's the exciting part going to come?"
It
But
was
like,
it was a little bit slow.
but that's the way friends are. But you got to set it up. I thought the writing was brilliant, and glad to see him. He needs the money.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, I was buying merch. What did I buy? Hang on. What did I buy? There you go. I bought the merch.
Yes, yes. Oh yeah. Who's your
Yeah.
favorite? Who's your favorite character? Now, I know it's got to be Rip, right?
Yep.
Everybody
Well,
loves Rip.
I didn't know to go. I didn't need to go to therapy. I just listened to Rip. I mean, some of the phrases he'd come out with. I know it's Taylor Sheridan, but I mean, when Rip delivers a line, you're going, man, that was just inspiring. And it was who needs like the Buddhist temples, and the Maharaji and all that. You go up there and you go, enlighten me, and Rip just comes up and says, "Move your ass, man. Just get on that horse." And it's like,
I think my favorite line that Rip said, my wife just started laughing. Because we, we have horses here. We're all my son, like we grew up cowboy, and so when Rip says, "Leave it alone, Beth. This cowboy shit." It is so funny. My wife
oh
is very traditional. In the sense that she doesn't want to control anything that happens outside on the ranch.
yeah,
She just wants to take care of the house, and I love that too. It's like we have the separation of roles is fantastic, and so I guess that's one of the things I love about the show. I thought I was not gonna like it too much, because
yeah,
it might be Might not be real enough, but I think it's got the right amount of elements, of reality.
Yeah, it was
There's
heart
a lot of
wrenching, really heart wrenching. I can't wait for the 460s to come on as well. But before, I know you've got loads of others lined up, loads of other interviews, so I don't want to take up too much of your time. But I ask all my guests a question, and it's around a fire pit on the ranch. Okay, you got a fire pit going on, and then you think, I need some people to come round, but people that's inspired me. So you're allowed, I'll call it 6 people. Why it's you. You're allowed 6 people to invite for tonight round a fire pit, past, present, family, musical, whatever it is, or a mixture of all. Who would those 6 people be?
Well, first would be my dad, who passed away 11 years ago, and was the biggest influence to me because he died at 62, and I wish he could participate, see my career. I'm Catholic, so I do believe that he still sees me and still is around me. But I would certainly invite him. I love George Strait, so I think he's
King George.
yeah, he's got the track record of songs. My favorite singer of all time, Merle Haggard. Would love to have him there. Um, I probably uh, my wife, of course. She's a lot of fun, and well, this is a great question. I've never been asked it like that. So it's very very cool. So I still have 2 more, right?
Yep.
Well, I would certainly invite you, Paul, because it was your idea.
I've got so many invites around fire pits now. I'm thinking, oh my
and
God,
and then I would probably I'd probably invite a videographer so they could capture it all, so I could watch it anytime I wanted.
Somebody said the other week, they said, yes, we would like Merle Haggard, Johnny Cash, Garth Brooks, Jesus Christ. And I went, I'd pay to be there.
Well, I see him every day, so know. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I wish you every success on the tour. Tell Trace if he wants to come. He's got we've got our email with Trace here as well. So if he wants to come on the show, he's more than welcome to come and have a chat. And I said once we record, I'll give you my email address as well if you want to, and we'll talk a little bit more just after we finish the recording about UK as well, and and also a couple of liners. That'd be great. But for now, Clay Walker, it's been an absolute pleasure, my friend. You're a legend, and thank you so much for the great music that you produce and are going to produce.
Well, Paul Taylor, I thank you, and thank you for all the platforms, including Cat Country. But I appreciate you having us on and letting us talk to the beautiful folks of the UK. And I can't wait to get over there and tour and lay some of this country accent on them.
Oh, the Scottish country accent. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. But you take care. Stay safe. Enjoy the rest of your day. And as I said, have a great gig. Is it tomorrow? I think. Is it tomorrow? I think you've got a gig with Trace tomorrow. Yeah, Trace. Yeah.
And on the weekend, we'll be in Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh, wow.
See you
Wow.
guys.
All right, matey. That's great. Thank